incentivize people to put in collateral, even if people are settling the Genius debt. Well, and the other problem was actually kind of simple, but the other problem was, how do you price it? How does the stability pool, how do you have an artificial intelligence figure out a price to do this for people? And the algorithm for that ended up being extremely simple. But about 3 months ago, an idea came to me for this, and I shared it with the other person who had been involved in the tokenomics for a long time, the other person that I mentioned earlier. Excuse me. Shared it as well, excuse me, to the Hex guys. And they're just like, wow, really? That got solved? I'm super busy right now, sorry. And another one didn't really, was like, wow, that's cool. Like, I'd love to hear about it later. I'm having a good time. So the PhD in math, and he's also an engineer for, I think, like, it's not mechanical engineering. I think it's like thermal, whatever. And I don't remember. I should ask him. But he's also an excellent Python developer. You know, all the math people today, they do Python, MATLAB, and stuff like that. And so he was like, yeah, okay. All right, these are new ideas. Yeah, all right. And so simulations were built from there. But yeah, this was a very unsolved problem. But it was still a big birth to incentives and human attention and intention. It was a big birth to genius. And it was kind of depressing that the big birth of genius, well, it wasn't depressing, it was exciting. These original ideas, right? Like, as I started talking with other people about 3 years ago to get their interest, talk with them about it, have somebody tell me, oh, you mean Hex? I'm like, what the hell is Hex? What the hex is Hex, man? You know, that strategy wasn't going to work because we couldn't solve something like that. You know, it hadn't been done before. Some magic had to happen. Some mathematical magic had to happen. And but all this other inspiration came from it, and it was amazing. But then I tell you, holy carp, you know, the fish carp, when a solution came, it wasn't even called stability pool, but when a solution came to how to incentivize and create, birth from creation, market arbitrage without having an oracle, because, you know, oracles can be a problem, or whatever, without having an oracle, but having it be in a smart contract, that was insanely exciting. And lots of new math problems were born because, after all of our simulations for Genius had to be run again. And, you know, we're talking about, we could have more servers, but we're talking about 10 different servers that are running 24/7 to prove what we're doing and to see how crazy the tokenomics can be broken. And instead, they're working beautifully. And a big core to this is phi, the golden ratio. The golden ratio in the universe is very magical. It's beautiful. And you know what? When you use it in your application, you can find very beautiful things too. So, yeah. So anyways, luckily, well, not luckily, but because of all of the sheer amount of work that had been done prior over the last 2 years, or at least before development started, all of the Python scripts and etc., that, you know, all the spreadsheets, Python scripts, Sigma 4, whatever it's called. I don't know how to use that stuff. I just see it. That stuff was incredibly valuable. So, all right, the stability pool, is it like a premium deficit on the market price, like Grayscale Trust? No, it's not. But It's interesting you say that because I can see that. I can see how you came to that conclusion. But no, it doesn't work like that. You see, with companies like Grayscale, their fees. Imagine a company like Grayscale. The fees they get for giving you a financial opportunity. Imagine that the company didn't take that fee, but instead they gave it back to everybody else. People would be performing better, right? That might not be the best. Um, that might not be the best analogy, but it's one. It's one. Yes, the stability pool is bringing liquidity into the contract itself, which will make Genius far more decentralized than any other cryptocurrency out there. Aha! So, decentralized exchanges have been known to gatekeep people. They've been known to shut out people who don't know how to use VPNs. So, like, for example, 1inch Exchange. 1inch is a great aggregator. 1inch is great. But if you're in the United States, you can't use 1inch. Well, what happens if you can't buy anything from Uniswap from the United States? Right? The demand for DeFi would be choked temporarily if Uniswap and PancakeSwap had to not allow their users, not allow people from the United States. Sure, us techie people, we know how to use a virtual private network. Just click some buttons, have an account with a company. Just far easier than it was in the past, of course, like everything. And then yeah, like I can use 1inch Exchange all I want. I imagine 1inch Exchange like we need to figure out who the hell you are. No. So let's say something like that happened with Uniswap and PancakeSwap. All the other coins, people wouldn't be able to buy them or sell them. Liquidity people wouldn't be able to use it. I mean, obviously the community would come up with a solution, but with Genius's stability pool, you can use the Genius app itself to do these things. So no problem. Oh, and if your country says, we don't want innovation, you're not allowed to use that or we'll put you in jail. I mean, they're not going to do that. Instead, they're just going to block access to the Genius website. So download the Genius app onto your computer or even onto your phone. The app can be run from any web browser. So yeah, I mean, that's massively bullish. But won't that dilute the advanced miner returns? Well, you got to keep in mind the collateral miner is an advanced miner. So it dilutes the advanced miner returns just like any other advanced miner dilutes the returns. So for example, let's say there's 10,000 advanced miners, right? And they're getting their share of the pie. Well, if another 100 advanced miners come, they're going to dilute all of our rewards. What the hell? This is the same problem that Hex has, but it's really not a problem. It's not a problem. If everyone is mining, if everyone is an advanced miner, the least everybody is going to perform is 4.36%. If that ever happens in the future, people who were earlier are going to have more shares, they're going to be happier. But if that ever happens, it's just going to be because Genius was such a massive success. And maybe that could take 10 years to get there. Maybe it could take 15 or 20. Excuse me. So it doesn't dilute the earnings. I put my water in my bag. It doesn't dilute the earnings. What it does do, though, is it gives liquidity, better liquidity also, besides the market, better price protection, more buying pressure on the open market, because it's a one-way arbitrage. You can buy in the